Yesterday we are just introducing ourselves to this section, regular verbs part 3, and so far uh, what you've seen is basically a recap of what you've learned. Right? You have singular, plural, and what is being added to the verbs, 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 and this is just basically a recap, right? Um, and what we are saying is sometimes you don't need to explicitly mention the subject pronoun uh, because the meaning is has is basically an implicit definition or a meaning required. For instance, in Spanish, the subject pronouns are not always required. This is because the verb endings can indicate who is performing the action. So hablo español. Hablo means yo hablo, right? Hablo español. I speak Spanish. Yo is not necessary. Comemos. Bebemos. Nosotros is not necessary. We eat meat. Comemos carne. Bebes en donde bebes. Tú is not necessary. You live in Mexico. Alright. So that's what we saw yesterday. So subject pronouns are often used for clarification. For example, the verb form habla is ambiguous. So habla, right? So él habla, ella habla, which is, from what you've seen, is the same, he or she, because it has the same rule, so to speak, right? Uh, you you add an a for verbs, e for verbs. That's what you saw in the last section. And basically, I guess what it's trying to say is, just by looking at the form, we cannot determine if it's what exactly is the pronoun, right? Uh, um, which is contrary to what you've seen before, um, at least for some examples, that we can determine what is the subject pronoun just by seeing the verb or the form of the verb. Like hablo means yo hablo, because for yo we add o to everything, irrespective of if it is an AR verb or ER verb or IR verb, right? So just like solo hablo un poco de español. Solo hablo un poco de español. So I speak a little Spanish, but we're not explicitly saying or mentioning I, right? Because it is implicitly defined if, just by saying hablo. You know that yo precedes hablo. So in this case, we cannot determine if like what exactly is the pronoun, right? It could be a, it could be ea, because just because the rule is exactly the same for ale and ea. So, and that's why they say it's ambiguous, right? So therefore, to distinguish between you speak, that is, you speak would be okay, let's take it as tu, that means you familiar, and for tu we add as, if it's for a, so like tu hablas. He speaks would be él habla. She speaks would be ella habla. So therefore, to distinguish between you speak, he speaks, and she speaks, it may be necessary to use the subject pronoun. So I think what I'm trying to say is that in those cases you would have to explicitly um, mention the subject pronoun with the verb, right? Because it is ambiguous. Because it's ambiguous, we need to mention the subject pronoun. Often, the conversation implies the subject of the verb. In such cases, the subject pronoun may be omitted. So, let's continue with this in the next video. So far in this video, to do a recap, we have seen that there may be times when we need to explicitly use the subject pronoun in a sentence when the verb in question is ambiguous. So just for instance, you have el habla or ella. I mean, if you just take habla, you don't know if it is él or ella, right? So in order to distinguish between them, we need to use the subject pronoun, right? So in the next video, we'll be continuing with this. And until then, see you next time.